if you're a personality sun or your conscious core essence is in the third gate, this is difficulty in the beginning. This is about ordering. And if we were to look at this just through the lens of the human design aspect and not look at this as a business aspect, what the third gate does is it actually orders our genetic material. It creates an ordering program so that when two become one, it orders it into our particular genetic makeup. If we were to look at this through the purpose and the incarnation crosses, we have the right angle cross of the laws, the juxtaposition of mutation, and the left angle cross of wishes. So the right angle cross of the laws. This is where we are going to begin to design civilization. We're going to begin this process because the next quarter that we're going to start talking about here shortly, and all of the gates in that particular quarter, it is about civilization. But what happens here in the 3 is that there's an ordering here. Our genetic material begins to order. So this is about designing a civilization. This is the beginning aspect. And we come in on this cross of laws, rules, commandments. The gates of the cross of the laws have the capacity to create rules, have the capacity to create order. So the 360 becomes an actual channel down at the very bottom of the design. And that 360 is all about mutation. And we have one of the most powerful definitions here when we look at the right angle cross of the laws. Why? Because this is a part of our large business organization, which we're going to talk about. This is a deeply, deeply mutative process and a deeply mutative energy field. The 360 brings this melancholy to our experience. And that melancholy really begins our whole creative process. Now, what can happen as well is it can get very depressive. However, the point of melancholy isn't for us to get pulled out of that melancholy. It is for us to be able to recognize that creative position when we are in it. So these are the laws that bring major dynamic changes in the way in which we deal with each other and the way societies are dealing with each other. So with the 60th gate there's a limitation that is inherent in every rule and in every law. And if you have a child that comes in on this cross, if you come in on this cross of laws, the purpose is to create laws. However, you also need to have laws, you need to have structure, and you need to have limitation in your life. That is what is healthy. So if you have a child that has this, give them a structure, give them some kind of rules to follow, because it can get very disruptive if they don't have those rules. So the right angle cross of the laws is all about fulfillment of the mutative energy. Fulfillment of mutation. This is the establishment of the very first laws. We want to bring out brand new, fresh laws here. So essential for the tribe itself in order to preserve the tribe and protect the young. In this cross, we have the very beginnings of the rules and the laws that we are here to live by. So if you come in on this, most likely you are going to have some kind of wealth attraction in the role of creating laws, creating rules. Maybe you work at a large organization and you create their policies and their procedures. Maybe you work as a police officer. Maybe you work in law enforcement as a whole. So I can see the wealth being created where if you're coming in and you're a mother, helping other people set limitations and rules for their children so that they get a better night's sleep, these kind of things. And that's how we create wealth when we are on this particular right angle cross of the laws. Remember, it's self-absorbed. So you're living your life. You're doing what you love, loving what you do. And the creation of these laws and these values just shine through you and really allow others to then either accept or decline the laws that are created through you. Juxtaposition cross of mutation. Mutation, mutation, mutation. That's what we're doing constantly. That's what our physical bodies are doing every single moment. They are dropping different cells and recreating different cells. We are breathing air in and out. There's constant mutation in our genetics. So when we get here, we begin to see how the mutative energy can really disrupt society. Why? Because we're on the 4, and the 50.4 itself is the line of corruption. And a 4-1, this is all about the corruptive energy that we need to be brought into our world, so that some laws are so outdated and need to be changed because they're unfair. So this is where we get corrupt lawyers or corrupt judges, because these laws are unfair and they need to be changed. And this is really mutation for mutation's sake. And mutation is the way in which we experience new things and impose new kinds of laws. So these people, there is going to be corruption there, and corruption isn't always bad. Remember, corruption kind of brings along this energy frequency where it's almost like an earthquake. You kind of shake people in their boots. This is about this 41st codon, which is all about contracting down. This is a part of our genetic code, this initiating codon. This starts all experiences, and then the 31 is influential. So it's being this influential earthquake to corrupt people out of their, out of what's holding them back, out of stepping, they got to step into their own mutation. But you're here just on your own fixed way of doing things. So what do I see here? Again, this corruptive wealth building where you're not going with the status quo. It's going to be difficult. Everything that you start is going to be difficult. There's going to be difficult there because the mutation doesn't permeate through collective energy easily. Just doesn't. And then the left angle cross of wishes. Well, you wish you could participate in that law, or you wish you could participate in this law, or you wish this law could get redone. That's really what happens here, is that we're looking into the future. Is that the 31 is a part of the futuristic, logical, collective circuitry. So looking into the future and looking into what direction we want to take in the future. And this brings us to a place where influence and leadership is important and leading us into the future. So bringing new expectations and new desires and new experience that, into our lawmaking. So if we don't have this rule, but we had this one, things would be a little better. So it's wishing all the time. If we could change this rule, then this could change. If we could change this law, then this could change. So I see these people really as lobbyists to get the politicians, because that's really all that the politicians do day in and day out, is they change this policy and they change this law and they lobby for this and they lobby for that. So I can see politician, I can see a lobbyist, I can see something where we need to have stable patterns as a society, but the moment that the pattern isn't stable, that's when these people come in and say, listen, it's stable. So why don't we allow for this new law to be written? So whenever you meet the aspects of any of these crosses of the laws, you're going to meet someone who's challenging the laws, challenging what we already have on the books. because we need to be able to establish a fair and correct movement into the future for humanity. And we can only do that when we use the corruptive, mutative energy that comes through that juxtaposition cross to really corrupt what we have put in place and move us into the future. So again, I see this cross being greatly involved in the laws of humanity, in being able to create an order out of chaos. And it's always going to be difficult. That's just how it is. However, it is going to definitely help us. So I see these beings as the lawmakers, the people that set the rules and tear them down and then build them back up again. And wishing becomes a place where we co-create and collaborate and bring together others as a karmic energy field. All right, have fun with this. Have fun with seeing how these wealth building can happen here. And yeah, we'll pop into this in our coaching.